just what is friction?
Well, when it comes down to it, all it really is just a force that holds back the movement of any kind of object. And we see it all the time in our everyday lives.
Now, the general equation for friction is Ff equals that weird little symbol multiplied by Fn. The little symbol stands for mu, and then Fn stands for the normal force. Obviously, Ff, as you might have guessed, stands for force of friction.
So mu is the coefficient of friction, and different types of materials have their own values for mu. Whereas the normal force is equal and opposite to the gravitational force, and it's perpendicular to the surface. It can be calculated using the equation Fn equals mg.
So here's an example problem. We have Frank Sean here, and he slides his 15-kilogram steel barb fridge across a wooden deck to have a couple of cold ones with his friends Ken Koifish and Norm Farce. If you push it at a constant velocity, what's the force of friction acting on the fridge? So, if we find our given here, our mass is 15 kilograms and the kinetic coefficient of friction is 0.5 roughly. So what do we need? We need the frictional force obviously, and then we need the normal force to find that. So we can use our equations Fn equals mg and Ff equals kinetic coefficient multiplied by the normal force. So, the normal force is the mass of 15 times 9.8, which is 147 newtons. So we use that with the kinetic coefficient, multiply them together, and you get your frictional force of 73.5 newtons and rounded to 74 newtons. So with just a little bit of work, Frank Sean will be having a great time with his buds Ken Koifish and Norm Farce. Now, you might be wondering why Frank Sean and the gang were on a dock in the middle of the ocean, and well, I have no clue. But I do know friction happens everywhere, even in the middle of nowhere. And there's actually 3 different types of friction.
There's sliding friction, also rolling friction, and even fluid friction. Without it, this world would be one weird place. But before we go, here's a Lego man being chased by the infamous chocolate milk monster for you. At first, there's just too much friction between the Lego man and the ground, and he just can't seem to get away. But now his speed from kicking off the block isn't lost on this frictionless surface, and the super smooth monster just can't get a grip.